Good morning, and welcome to CIECAst. This changes everything, the impact of new technologies on the auto physical damage and claims ecosystem. I'm Ed Weidman, the Executive Director of CIECA. Today's webinar is being presented by Stephen Applebaum. Stephen is the Managing Partner of the Insurance Solutions Group and a subject matter expert and thought leader providing consulting, advisory, research, and strategic M&A services to participants across the entire North American property casualty insurance ecosystem, focused on insurance information technology, claims, innovation, disruption, supply chain, vendor, and performance management. Mr. Applebaum is also a senior advisor to Waller Helms Advisors, a premier investment banking boutique focused on the crossroads of the insurance, healthcare, and investment services sectors. Stephen is a frequent chairman, guest speaker, and panelist at insurance industry conferences and contributor to major insurance industry publications. As we start the webinar, I want to remind you that there is no verbal communication between the participants and the presenters. If you have questions during the webinar, please type them in the webinar navigation pane on your screen. We will answer as many questions as possible at the end of the presentations. And now, I'll turn the program over to you, Stephen.
Thanks very much, Ed, and good morning, good afternoon, and perhaps good evening to everybody online. I'm excited to be doing this. I do many presentations and webinars, but this is my first ever CIECAst. So here we go. I've got a lot of information to cover, so I'll speak as quickly as I can without going too fast. The only constant in our industry anymore is change, and the rate of that change is accelerating. As recently shared by Mr. David Roberts, the Managing Director of Focus Advisors, who is an independent investment banking practice and a highly respected collision industry M&A advisor, he said, quote, "Change is accelerating. In just the last 12 months, we've seen Caliber and Abra merge, Joe Hudson's gain an aggressive private equity investor, and over 20% of the 10 largest remaining MSOs acquired." On the technical side of change, Moore's Law, named after Intel co-founder Gordon Moore, basically states that overall processing power for computers will double every 2 years through at least 2025, while related costs continue to decrease. We'll see why that's important in a few minutes. To be clear, by our industry, quote, I mean every segment of the automotive industry, from OEMs who make cars, to auto carriers who insure them, to collision repairers who fix them, and to information providers who enable all of the many interconnected processes and the hundreds of other supply chain partners who all have critical roles in the entire end-to-end process. Car rental firms, towing operators, parts providers, auto glass installers, IAs, and adjusters. Basically, the entire CIECA membership. In 1980, the internet and computer technology enabled the creation of the direct repair program model by a few industry pioneers. Today, connected cars, telematics, and mobile communications technologies are enabling new and very different models, including certified repair networks. While OEMs begin to displace insurers in influencing the accident management and repair process, the collision repair industry will become more relevant than ever. Let's get started here. Here's an overview of the shifting landscape and some new technologies. Analytics and AI, which includes computer vision, machine learning, natural language processing, robotic process automation, chatbots, The IoT together is creating torrents of data, and we will need automated solutions to manage and decipher them. Mobility, cell phones in cars, tablets in the field, and in repair shops. Consumers are capturing and sending images, field service routing. And then ADAS, the near-term advanced driver assistance systems have not yet resulted in measurable decrease in overall accident severity, but they are driving up repair complexity and severity. Longer term, 10 to 15 years, as ADAS dominates the fleet, we can expect claims and the repair counts to begin showing marked decreases. Autonomous and connected cars, including sensors and telematics, the jury is still out when and even if fully autonomous vehicles will take a meaningful market share, but the connected car is definitely here today. Gig economy platforms like WeGoLook, like Honk or Urgently, are acting as intermediaries between traditional insurance and field claims service personnel, and they are disrupting the methods of inspection, damage estimating, repair assignment, and the claims payment process. Car sharing and ride sharing is changing who your customers are and how many fewer of them there will be. Finally, 5G. The world is moving towards 5G mobile technology, which is basically the 5th generation of mobile networks. It's a new kind of network that will not only interconnect people, but also machines, devices, and objects. 5G is expected to have a totally transformative impact on global industry, enabling firms to offer connected services with top performance and efficiency and at low cost. 5G, 5th generation cell network technology with speeds of up to 100 gigabits per second is set to be as much as 100 times faster than 4G. 5G will enable constant, real-time transmission of critical driver and vehicle data to support FNOL, accident management, and post-accident services triage. And finally, a quote. 4G is like driving on a high-speed interstate highway. 2G is like driving on a country road. But 5G is like flying an airplane. That from Freeman Shen, founder and CEO of WM Motor Technology. Another aspect of the shifting landscape is the Amazon effect, so-called, because it describes the shift in customer habits and expectations due to the popularity of Amazon. It's created a demand for instant gratification. Customers are demanding less friction in the buying cycle. The majority of customers expect improved response times from the companies with which they do business. The Amazon effect has influenced customers' expectations regarding how they shop and how they expect to receive information. And finally, the Amazon effect has changed expectations around personalization. Some macro factors in the overview of the shifting landscape. These are some of the major new realities that collision repairers need to understand and follow closely, since they will impact your business directly and in material ways. They can also represent opportunities once recognized and acted upon. For example, alternative transportation networks, which are resulting in declining car ownership, such as ride sharing, bike, and scooter sharing. There are also crowd sharing platforms like WeGoLook, Honk, and Urgently, as we mentioned earlier. Connected, autonomous, shared, and electric vehicles, collectively called CASE, are shifting control to the OEMs. Here's some facts. Currently, only 10% of all cars on U.S. roads are equipped with ADAS. A survey among 500 consumers who had their ADAS-equipped cars repaired over the past 2 years found that 15% concluded their advanced safety systems had not been properly repaired, with the technology not working or acting differently. That research according to J.D. Power. OEMs have adopted a TCO, a total cost of ownership view of their customer relationship, which includes influence over costs such as insurance and repair. Certified repair networks are taking hold in the marketplace, which will shift even more influence away from insurers and repairers towards OEMs. Procedures will transfer control over accident and claims management, third-party triage, and parts and service revenues. And OEM repair procedures are quickly becoming the standard of repair. Additionally, from Mitchell's Empower newsletter recently, this information. In 2012, there were 350 body shops with OEM certifications in North America. Just 5 years later, there were 3,500. OEM certifications are not only a way to set your business apart from the competition, but they also make your shop more efficient and help assure quality repairs. Without a doubt, the OE is the standard for how to repair automobiles correctly. Beyond the most important aspect of safe and proper repairs, there are efficiencies gained throughout the entire repair process. Knowledge of the repair and OEM requirements reduces the time it takes to create an estimate. This data, when passed through to the technician, allows for research once and commitment to a proper repair throughout the course of the repair process. Because OE data can change with regularity, it's essential to retain this information for your records to ensure that the vehicle was repaired with the most up-to-date information available at the time of that repair. With 31 auto brands and at least 20 OEM repair programs in market, it pays to take the time to decide which will provide the best return on investment for your business. Finally, some additional macro factors: telematics and data exchanges, driver data-based insurance and safety programs, and OEMs are sharing driver data with carriers through independent platforms. Consolidation in the collision repair industry, driven by large investment pools of capital, is intensifying competition, and insurance carriers are seeking to shed fixed overhead in favor of variables as claims frequently declines while severity rises, and as they reposition themselves for a future with far fewer auto claims. And let's move to the impact on auto physical damage and the claims ecosystem from all of these factors. First of all, the challenge for repairers, for owners, and for technicians is to keep up with tech and other changes in market dynamics, number one. The tech shortage is easing, but far from resolved. There's increased carrier focus on the compression of cycle time and the reduction of severity and claims cost as auto insurers tighten their belts and prepare for a very different future. And finally, as carriers implement chatbots and other cost reduction technologies, policyholders increasingly seek information and advice from repairers. The challenge for repairers, owners, and technicians to keep up with tech and other changes in the market dynamics is substantial. Further impact on auto physical damage and the claims ecosystem. Customer self-service, auto photo and video inspection is impacting repair volume and altering the traditional referral process. DRP penetration is decreasing and altering repair volume available to carriers' DRP repair partners. Telematics data exchanges could potentially shift claim and repair dynamics and volume away from the traditional insurer-repairer relationships. And finally, long-term penetration of autonomous vehicles in the car park will dramatically reduce accident and repair volume, and technology complexity will increase the cost of training and equipment on repairers. So, where can independent organizations help with some of these challenges? First of all, legislative agendas and the influence of larger corporations. Data privacy, security, and ownership, for example, the coalition. Here's a quote from Autonomo. The benefits of connected vehicles for individuals, communities, and society are clear. So are the privacy risks posed by increased collection, use, and sharing of personal information about drivers, passengers, cyclists, and pedestrians. We're going to be hearing an awful lot more about data privacy and security every day moving forward. And finally, CIECA's role is critical in maintaining a fair and efficient playing field while assuring data security. Most of you probably know that since you're likely members of CIECA, but I do encourage you to remain and get more involved. Back to some additional related issues how small and independent businesses like yours and what they can do to insulate themselves. This regards training, regards OEM certifications, tools and equipment, collision repair management solutions. But let me expand a little on that and borrow again from a recent Mitchell newsletter. Investing in training of software and estimating systems will save countless hours of negotiating and give your shop an edge in writing complete and accurate estimates. Arming your staff with the right skills, tool knowledge, and OEM repair procedures also will pay dividends by providing technicians with the most up-to-date skills to repair today and tomorrow's advanced vehicles. In 2012, I'm repeating this information for emphasis, in 2012, there were 350 body shops with OEM certifications in North America. Just 5 years later, there were 3,500. OEM certifications are not only a way to set your business apart from the competition, but they also make your shop more efficient and help assure quality repairs. And then finally, tracking down changing information or calling OEMs wastes valuable time. Get instant access to OEM repair information and put accurate current repair data at your fingertips to reduce cycle time with a collision repair management solution that includes an OEM repair procedure database. More on what smaller independent businesses can do to insulate themselves. And these have been recently called out as recently as last week during SEMA as important elements of any body shop business. Information and research, relationships, repair planning, training, productivity selection, and quality control. Jason Bartman of Collision Hub, during his Repair Process 2020 presentation at SEMA, examined all these six elements of a body shop business. And for those of you who didn't see it, perhaps you can get a copy. Additionally, some related issues here about what smaller independent businesses can do to insulate themselves. First of all, knowledge is power. Attend conferences, attend webinars like this one and others, read whatever you can get your hands on that's relevant, and most importantly, listen to your customers. What they like, what they don't like, what they want, and what they need, including your insurance company customers. Secondly, there is definitely power in numbers. So I would recommend participation in every industry organization that you can afford time to participate in, including CIECA and any others. Third, conduct an annual independent review or assessment of your business. There's many ways to go about that, from professional consultants to senior members of your staff to even doing it yourself. And try to be objective and identify your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, and use those after they've been honestly and accurately documented. Use them to develop your go-forward strategy to leverage your strengths, overcome your weaknesses, pursue your opportunities, and defend against your threats. Next, keep your technology updated. It is changing so quickly. I don't have to tell you, you know better than I do. But, just for example, automate and integrate OEM repair procedures in your process. There are a lot of really good solutions available and more coming to market every day. Use one. And finally, for any business, specifically the repair business, have a plan B. What are you going to do if things don't go the way you expect? And even have a plan C, a backup plan to B, because you just never know what to expect in today's environment. So I want to share some further information here about what smaller independent businesses can do to insulate themselves. This is sort of hot off the press. I borrowed this from Vincent Romans, who delivered a keynote address last week at the MSO Symposium during SEMA. And he offered some great advice, which I'd like to share with you here relative to this slide. Number one, be proactive. So don't sit back and wait for things to happen. Number two, don't go it alone. Develop strategic partnerships. Partnerships are absolutely table stakes in today's business environment, including in the collision repair and automotive industry. Nobody's going to succeed alone any longer. Third, scale matters. So no matter what size you are, single shop, 2 shops, 3 shops, larger groups, scale matters. Manage, leverage, and grow your individual or partnership business to scale advantage. And then finally, there is an emerging trend across all industry which applies here to collision repair as well, which is institute a company culture with purpose and not just a profit purpose. When you place profits before purpose, profits can become elusive. Thank you, Vincent, for allowing me to share that information. And finally, a quote and a few comments. I really like quotes that are relevant, and this is the one I've selected for today's presentation. During the gold rush, it's a good time to be in the pick and shovel business. A quote from Mark Twain. I see collision repairers as being exactly in the pick and shovel business, and therefore I see you being as an industry in a very attractive position for the future. But let me just move towards the Q&A period and close this presentation leave you with these thoughts. As the forces of change swirl around us, and as the future of automobiles, insurance, and transportation seem bound to change in major ways, Collision repairers who focus on the business of fixing cars properly and safely can be assured of continuing to succeed, no matter how it all sorts out. I look forward to seeing all of you at one time or another at any of the many industry conferences, including perhaps the Insurance Nexus Conference, which is coming up next week in Chicago, which I'll be chairing. It's called the Connected Insurance USA Conference. And I want to thank all of you, as well as CIECA, Ed, Stacy, Charlie, for the opportunity to present this morning. And I'm looking forward to handing it back to Ed for the Q&A period.
Thank you, Stephen. Very, very interesting information. Hey, a question. You know, as innovation continues to grow in the industry and the manufacture of vehicles, do you think that there's going to be a need for a closer relationship between repair shops and the OEs? And if you do you think it'll occur, or do you think there'll be more separation in the future, which is going to make it difficult?
Yeah, I have no trouble answering that. It's already occurring in the form of certified repair networks, which is directly and indirectly bringing repairers and OEs closer together. I mentioned during my comments that the influence, the balance of influence is shifting from insurers to OEs. But at the end of the day, there's still only one segment of industry that's repairing cars, and that's collision repairers. So the OEs are going to be looking for closer, more meaningful relationships that help them ensure that vehicles are repaired properly and safely. And repairers are going to be looking for partners who can direct and refer repair volume. And frankly, the connected automobile is going to be the stimulator for allowing OEs and perhaps others, but OEs for sure, to start to control, direct, refer, use whatever word you choose, to direct and refer accidents and repairs to certified repair shops. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. I don't see any other questions on the side panel. If anybody did want to ask a question, they'd be more than happy to answer it for you. Let's see here. Wait a minute. I have one here. You were mentioning some stats from a J.D. Power study around ADAS systems. I'm trying to get this up, and it's not working.
Mm-hmm. We'll be patient. If the question was going to be which study did that come from, I'm not sure, I'm guessing. Right. That would be the most recent study J.D. Power issued on auto claims satisfaction. And a quick Google of that title will provide a summary. J.D. Power publishes a summary of each one of their research studies by way of a brief 1 or 2 page descriptor. And of course, they have a much more detailed report available for purchase, but this information was in the summary.
Okay, yeah, they just wanted a repeat of it, so I think that you handled that. Okay, great. I don't have any other questions, so
Stephen, if I can ask
thank you very much.
Stephen, if I can ask one question. Right now, OEs are starting to, and I'm going to ask if this trend seems like it's going to be continued or has to continue, is things like the build sheets to be made available. You know, more and more OEs are making their repair procedures easily available, easily being the key word there. And then, but in the build sheets, is that something that the OEs are finally going to migrate to, is making build sheets available to repairers? Your thoughts?
I'd love to answer that question, but I learned a long time ago not to answer a question whose answer I didn't know, and I don't know the answer to that one, and I'm sorry, Charlie, but
no worries.
Gonna have to but I will make a related comment, which is, as a result of all the meetings I attended last week at SEMA and the various articles I've been reading over the past few months and the people I've been meeting, what's coming clear to me is that the information that used to be so hard to acquire by repair shops from OEs, for a whole bunch of reasons, including the fact that it wasn't standard, there was no common way of accessing it, etc., that seems to be getting streamlined through third-party intermediaries who are integrating those solutions into estimating systems so that during the repair estimating procedure, that information is at so to speak, at the repairer's electronic fingertips. As to whether or not that includes build sheets, I'm sorry, I don't know.
I think that answers my question, is that repairs and OEs are getting closer together, and that does answer my question, so thank you very much, Steve. Yeah,
and the information is getting easier to access at the right point of time and place.
There's the key.
Ed, anything more?
Another question. Yep. Question, if you don't mind. Stephen, how do you think OEMs will use all the data they're receiving from the connected car to make the claims process more seamless?
I think that's already becoming somewhat clear, although there is also an element of uncertainty about the answer to that question, so I'm not going to be vague here. I will answer sort of what is known and what is unknown. What is known is that the entire triage process, from the moment of an accident, when an airbag is deployed, a sensor generates a signal back to the OE from the connected car. From that moment, the entire triage of the claim, whether it's the rental car, a tow truck, dispatch and scheduling of the repair at a repair shop, those things are already underway, being planned and being executed by OEs so that they can make the ownership and the claims experience that much more seamless for the vehicle owner. I think where the jury is out, so to speak, and the process isn't completely clarified yet, and this is going to go on for another couple of years, I would imagine, is how the OE and insurer will relate to one another and cooperate with one another in the support of their common customer during this accident triage process. And this is my own sort of opinion, I guess, my hunch. There will be those carriers who decide to partner in a very integrated and deep way with OEs, and there will be those who decide to go it alone, so to speak, and try to continue to do business in a more traditional way. And I think we'll see both models in the marketplace for a period of time. I hope that provided part of an answer.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, it looks like we don't have any other questions, so thank you very much, Stephen, for the great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. We invite everyone to participate in future CIECAst broadcasts. A full schedule of future broadcasts is available on CIECA.com. Simply select the Events tab at the top of the page. CIECA has partnered with the Automotive Management Institute. Attendees of this webinar can take a short quiz on the AMI website to earn credit towards a professional designation. A link to AMI and a coupon code is available on CIECA.com. Please follow CIECA's media platforms to stay up to date on upcoming events and CIECA news. This concludes today's webinar. Thank you for attending.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.